Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, let us discuss 40 multiple choice questions about device management in operating system. These questions are very important for you to understand concepts in device management as well as helps for you for any upcoming exams. Let's see each question one by one. Don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel and the previous chapters in operating system like memory management and process management I posted in the previous video. You can see from that. Let's see today's video. The first question: what does device management partially involves? A. User interface design. B. Managing hardware resource. C. Memory allocation. D. Application software management. The correct answer is B. This includes monitoring, controlling, and optimizing the use of hardware device in a system, which is device management that includes, and also ensures whether the function of the hardware devices efficiently and effectively. The second question: what is the function of device driver? A. To store instruction. B. To provide interface for hardware interaction. C. To execute user application. D. To protect against virus. The function of device driver is to provide interface for hardware interactions. And it can manage memory or storage management. So B is the correct answer. 3. Which of the following is not characteristics of parallel device? Simultaneous data transfer, multiple data line, slow data transfer rate, enhanced performance. Slow data transfer rate is not a characteristic of parallel device. Instead, there is high data rate in the parallel devices because there are multiple data lines. So the data transfer rate is very high or speed data rate. 4. What is the purpose of buffering in device management? A. To increase memory capacity. B. To adjust data transfer speed. C. To compress data. D. To manage system security. The purpose of buffering in device management is to adjust data transfer speeds, because the purpose of the buffering in device management that smooth the data rate and flow control. So one of the application of or the advantage of buffering is to adjust data transfer speeds but does not increase the memory capacity, because buffering a buffer which is part of the memory does not increase the memory capacity and it does not compress the data, but it can hold for adjusting or smooth the data flow between the producer and the consumer of the data. And it does not the performance or the ability to manage system security. It's not responsible for system security. So B is the correct answer. 5. Which type of device is typically directed accessed by the CPU? Secondary storage, peripheral device, tertiary storage, main memory. The device that directly accessed by the CPU from the list of the choices, the main memory. 6. What is the primary advantage of direct memory access? It increases CPU load. It frees the CPU from managing data transfer. It reduces RAM size. It requires more processor time. The advantage of direct memory access increase it free the CPU from managing data transfers. That helps to free the CPU from managing the data transfer. 7. What does pooling stand for in device management? Simultaneous peripheral operation online, sequential processing of logical operation, spooling process or logical operation, none. Spooling stands for simultaneous peripheral operation on line. 8. Which condition can help prevent data loss during input-output operation? Buffering, paging, swapping, fragmentation. The condition that helps to prevent data loss during input-output operation is buffering. The advantage of buffering is that used to control data flow and smooth the input-output data rate. 9. What is character device? A device that provides high-speed data access. A device that works with data stream on character-by-character basis. Device that stores data permanently. A device that handles graphical information. A device that works with data streams on character-by-character basis. The flow of the data which is character device, like keywords. 10. What does the term error handling refers in device management? A. Adopting device driver for new hardware. B. Ensuring user data availability. C. Process of managing and recovering from hardware failure. D. Creating backup protocols. The term error handling in device management is process of managing and recovering from hardware failures. 11. Which device character involves the ability to connect different devices to one another? Resource sharing, buffering, redundancy, interoperability. The characteristics of the device that have the ability to connect different devices into one another is interoperability. D is the correct answer. Third, what is virtual memory primarily used for? A. Storing data permanently. B. Extending the physical memory for a computer. C. Improving graphic performance. D. Reducing power consumption. The purpose of virtual memory is extending the physical memory of the computer that improves the performance of the computer. So, B is the correct answer. 30. What is the primary function of caching? To store data temporarily for high-speed access, to permanently store data, to compress file, to manage memory allocation. E. To store data temporarily for high-speed access is the correct answer. Question number 14. What is the main purpose of spooling? A. To encode data for storage. To queue data for sequential process. To increase RAM efficiency. To enhance CPU performance. The main purpose of spooling is to queue data for sequential processing. Question number 15. What happens when device send an interrupt to the CPU? The CPU stop all processing. The CPU resume processing another disk. The CPU is notified to handle the device request. The device becomes inactive. When the device sends an interrupt to the CPU is notified to handle the device's request. Question number 16. Which mechanism manages input and output operation in an operating system? CPU scheduler, memory manager, device manager, file manager. The device manager that manages or that is responsible to manage input and output operation in operating system. The CPU scheduler for processor managing the CPU, and then the correct answer is C, device manager. Question number 17. What is resource allocation device management? A. Allocating memory address. B. Assigning hardware resource to process. C. Managing user permission. D. Distributing network bandwidths. Resource allocation in device management is assigning hardware resources to the process. Question number 18. What is the function of device controller? The function of device controller is to manage the data flow between the CPU and peripheral device. A device controller, which is a hardware that facilitates the communication between the CPU and the peripheral devices, and that also manages the transmission of data and commands and helps to ensure the input-output operation are performed correctly. Whether the it ensures whether the input-output operations are performed correctly. Question number 19. Which of the following is an example of block device? Keyboard, mouse, hard disk drive, monitor. The block device is a type of device that transfers data in a fixed block or chunks that helps for random access to data. While the keyboard, the mouse are the character device, and the monitor is an output device. So hard disk drive is one of the block device that transfer data in a fixed size, but the others are character device, except monitor, which is an output device. It's not character, or monitor is not character nor fixed size or block device. Rather, it is output device. Question number 20. What role does the input-output manager play? The role of the input-output manager is to manage communication between device and the system. The input-output manager oversees the input and output operations, which ensures that data transfer between device and the operating system performed whether efficiently and correctly or not. And that's also coordinating access and resource allocation among multiple devices. So B is the correct answer. 21. Which statement about buffering is true? A. To reduce response time only. B. It improves input-output operation efficiently. C. It eliminates all data losses. D. It is used only for disk operation. It improves input-output operation efficiently is true about buffering. 22. What is the primary characteristics of serial devices? A. They can transmit multiple bits simultaneously. B. They require less complex They require less complex circuitry. C. They operate at higher speed? D. They transfer data one bit at a time. The primary characteristics of serial device, which is transfer data one bit at a time. But in a little bit, they less complex circuitry compared to the parallel devices. D is the correct answer, but 23. What kind of management does real-time operating system requires for the device? The real-time operating system requires the management for B, proactive management for timely responsive. The kind of management the real-time operating system requires for the device, which is proactive management for timely responses. 24. In device management, what does the term hardware abstraction? Hardware abstraction refers to hiding physical device detail from the users. The unnecessary detail for the physical device hide, which is hardware abstraction. 25. Which of the following scenario illustrates the use of interrupts? The instance of the use of interrupt is input operation from the keyboard. When the key is pressed on the keyboard, it sends an interrupt to the CPU. Signal that input available and are promoting the CPU to pause its current task to process the keyboard inputs. So, input operation from the keyboard is the one instance that's use of interrupt. 26. What can cause bottleneck in device management? The cause of the limitation of the device management is high demand for single device. 27. What does the term hot swappable device refers to? Hot swappable device, which refers to device that can be installed without shutting down the system, which is hot swappable. Which strategy is used to minimize input-output wait times? Load balancing, asynchronous processing, first in first out scheduling, batch processing. Asynchronous processing that used to minimize input-output waiting times. 29. What is a potential disadvantage of device sharing? Increased device utilization, complex resource allocation, reduced performance, increased overhead. The disadvantage of device sharing is reduced performance. Question number 30. What is potential disadvantage of device sharing? 31. How does the operating system handle device conflict? It prioritizes requests based on predefined criteria. Question number 32. Which of the following is characteristics of direct memory access? can perform data transfer without CPU. The characteristics of direct memory access that helps certain hardware device to access the main system memory independently of the CPU involvement, that enabling faster data transfer rate and freeing the CPU it from the other task while the data transfer is occurring. 33. Which of the following is not an application of device management? Improving hardware performance, managing user access, ensuring data confidentiality, booting the operating system. Booting the operating system is the correct answer, which is not the application of device management. This is handled by the bootloader and the firmwares, which is not device management. 34. Which device management feature minimize CPU idle time? Concurrent processing, sequential execution, synchronous data transfer, buffering strategy. Concurrent processing that minimize CPU idle times, because concurrent processing allows multiple processes to be executed simultaneously or in overlapping time periods. That helps to keep the CPU active and reduce idle times, specifically during the input-output operations. 35. What is the most common method for detecting hardware failures? Logging error message, system reboot, regular maintenance check, user feedback. The common method for detecting hardware failure is logging error messages. Operating system and various applications. There are different applications that usually log error message generated by the hardware components when failure occurs. Thus, logged error messages are important. This logging helps in diagnosing issue and provide insight into hardware performance and failure over times. 6. What is the default state for device managed by the operating system? Idle is the correct answer when the devices are not active in use but are available for tasks. They are typically in an idle state that waits for commands or input from the operating system or the user. 7. Which structure is used by the operating system to manage device status? Device queue, resource pool, device table, process control block. The device table is used by the operating system to manage the status of the devices. 38. What characteristics is smart device? Which one is characterize the smart devices? Require user intervention, operates without battery, has built-in intelligence or processing capacity, functions only as a peripheral. The characters which best describe smart device or the characteristics of smart device rather than other devices has a built-in intelligence or processing capacity. The smart devices are equipped with processing power and a software that helps for them to perform tasks automatically, that make decisions and often connect to other device or networks for enhanced functionality. So B is the correct answer. Question number 39. In which scenario is device pooling applicable? The device pooling is applicable in when the multiple device requires frequent status checks. The last question, which characteristics distinguishes high-speed device from low-speed device? The characteristics that used to distinguish or differentiate high-speed device from the low-speed device is the data transfer rates. The data transfer rate that used or characterize the speed of the devices. Thank you. This is the last question. Don't forget to subscribe to get such a kind of basic or important questions. Bye bye.